Okay, so now that we've done that part, we're just going to try it on. So just pop it on your head, and mine I know is going to fit because I've made a few of these now. So ideally you want it to come to the bottom of your ear. So you can see my ears there. That's where you want your hat to sit. If it doesn't and it's a little bit short, just add another row or another couple of rows until you get to the desired length, but do not fasten off yet. So we're just going to add a little peak at the front. So don't fasten off, we're going to do that right now. Welcome to part 2 of the Winifred hair hat tutorial. If you have not seen part 1, I will link that in the description box below so it's easy for you to find. In this second part, we will be making the buns, which attach on top of the hat that we already made in part 1. So grab your crochet hook. We are going to be using a 6.5mm crochet hook for this part also. So for round 1, we're going to be doing a magic circle. I'm going to do my cheats way. So I'll show you that again if you don't remember it from the first part of this tutorial. So we're going to put a loop on our hook and chain 1, chain 2, and this first loop that we did is going to count as our magic circle. So we're going to put 6 half double crochet into this loop. So we yarn over. Oops. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to pull this one tight to close up that magic circle. Now this is the first silly stitch we ignore, this little bit here. So this is the first stitch that we're going to join into. So we're just going to slip stitch into that one. There we are. Now for this round, we are going to do what's called a loop stitch. So if you are not familiar with the loop stitch, I'm going to explain it the best that I can. It can be a little bit tricky to get it right, so this first round might be a bit tricky, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Okay, I'll try and explain it the way I like to think of it, or the way my brain works it. There's a few different ways to do it, and if you're struggling with the way that I've shown you, you can look it up and see on YouTube. There's a lot of different tutorials that do it different ways, so don't give up if you can't do it the way that I'm showing you. I think my way is the easiest, but we'll see. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop this finger up, so we've got a V, an upside down V with our yarn like this. We're going to go into that first stitch and we're going to grab that back one as if we're saying, come this way, there's a party in this stitch. Then we're going to twist and grab this other one. So I like to think of it as grabbing all our friends to come through. So I say, come on through. Then I take my finger out of that stitch, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So that's our loop stitch on that side. So I need to do, this is an increase round, so I'm going to have to do another loop stitch in that same stitch. So for me to show you that a second time, we're creating that V, we're going into the same stitch because this is an increase round, and we're gathering our friends from either side and pulling them through. 2 loops on the hook, and take our finger out of there, yarn over and through those 2 loops. So this is creating the loops on that side. I hope this is not too difficult for you. So I'm going to continue with this 2 loop stitches in each stitch around. I'm going to do this the whole way around. This is not a stitch that I use very often, so even sometimes I get a bit confused. Gathering my friends. There we are. 2 in that one. Oh. It's a bit difficult to do it on this angle with the camera so that you can see in the camera. I hope that you can see that okay. 2 in this one. 2 in this one. Oh, oops. Grab my friends, pull them through. So ideally you want all your loops to be about the same size, but because this is a hair, this is going to be a hat that's going to resemble hair, I wouldn't worry too much if they're a bit uneven. So especially if this is your first time using this stitch, I mean, the more even the better it will look, but it's not something I'd be too concerned about measuring an exact science. Come on, friends. Okay, that one, I think that was the last one. Let me just check the other side. Okay. And slip stitch to finish that one off when we get there. So this is how it should look. So it's pretty messy and you're not really going to be able to tell too much. So this is what we're trying to create on this side, all these little loops. So I wouldn't worry too much about the length because, yeah, as you can see, it's a hot mess on this side. So that's how it's supposed to look. Round 3 is a bit easier, gives you a bit of a break, and we're going back to a half double crochet round. So we're going to do chain 1 and half double crochet in that same stitch. So we're doing half double crochet, and then in the next stitch we're doing a half double crochet increase, and we're going to continue on this way around. So half double crochet in that one and a half double crochet increase in the next. We're going to do this all the way around until we get back to the start and then join with the slip stitch. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to join that with a slip stitch into that first one that we did. There we are. And that concludes round 3. Now we're going to go on to round 4. Now to begin round 4, we're going to do the loop stitch again. So we're going to start in this first stitch and make that V. Grab all our friends. Oops. Oh, they don't want to come. They don't want to come. Okay, so we're going to go in through the stitch. Bring all our friends. Whoops, they don't want to come. They don't want to come to this party. Oh dear. Okay. It's really difficult to do it on the angle that I'm doing it on. Okay, there we go. Yarn over and pull through both those loops, and that is our first loop stitch. We're going to do 1 in the next. I feel like the faster you, because I'm trying to do it slowly, and I feel like the faster you do it, the easier it is. There we go. Alright, so that's 2. So, and this next one's an increase. So our repeat for this round is 2 loop stitches and then a loop stitch increase. So in this stitch, we're going to be doing 2 loop stitches. There we are. And another in that same stitch. And we're going to continue on doing that pattern. So loop, loop, loop increase, loop, loop, loop increase. So if we continue that all the way around, and I will meet you back here at the end of round 4 for joining. Okay, so we're just going to join that one with a slip stitch. Here we are. And if we have a look on the other side, this is how, oh, there's a hair on there. This is how it's beginning to look. So you've got all of your loop stitches in the middle, and then you have your half double crochets, and then your loop stitches again. And we're just going to continue on doing this. So we're going to chain 1. We're going to half double crochet around this round. And this is another increase around, and now we're doing 3 half double crochet and then a half double crochet increase. So 1, 2, 3, and then our half double crochet increase. And we're going to continue on doing 3 half double crochet, then a half double crochet increase. Okay, so for the end of round 5, we will join with a slip stitch as always. And now we're going to begin round 6. So go into that stitch. This will be a loop round. So we're going to do 4 loops and then a loop increase. So, whoa. It really is difficult to do it on this angle. 2, 3, come on friends, 4, oops. And then in this one, in the 5th one, that will be an increase. So 2 loops in there, and we're going to continue this around until we get back to the beginning, and I'll meet you back here for joining. Okay, we're joining with a slip stitch. There we are. Lovely. Okay, so that is the end of round 6. Round 7 is a half double crochet round. And for this round, we are going to chain 1, half double crochet into that same stitch that we slip stitched into. So for this round, we are going to have 5 half double crochets and then an increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, whoa, 5, and then a half double crochet increase in the next, and we're going to continue that all the way around and then join with the slip stitch. Okay, we're going to join that with a slip stitch. Whoops. And that concludes round 7. Now we're going to go into round 8, and for that one we're going to do 6 loop stitches and then a loop increase. So into that same stitch, oh, bring our friends, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're doing the increase in the next one, so 2 in the next one. Oh, sometimes it's easy to, sometimes you get caught on the loops at the back and pull them through, but don't worry too much. Okay, so there we go, that's a repeat for this round. So 6 loops and then an increase, and we're going to do that all the way around, and I'll meet you back. So this is how we're looking now. We're just going to join that with a slip stitch. Don't worry if you got, see how I've got some of these loops coming through this side? Don't worry about that, because at the end we'll pull them back through the other side, so that just, if that's happening, I think that's just my nails catching on while I'm going round and round. Okay, so we're up to round 9 now. Round 9 is a nice easy one. So we do that first, chain 1, like we just did, and then into that same stitch we're just going to do a half double crochet, and we're going to put 1 half double crochet in each stitch around with absolutely no increasing. So do that all the way around, and then I shall meet you back for the next round at the end of this round. Okay, so we're going to join here with a slip stitch, and that completes the end of round 9. So for round 10 we are going to do another round with no increases, and we're just going to do loop stitch this time. So we've just had our half double crochet round, now we're going to do a round of loops, so just 1 loop in each stitch. And we're going to do that all the way around. Okay, we've reached the end of round 10, so we're just going to join with a slip stitch. Oh. Like so. Now we're going on to round 11, and once again, as you probably guessed, we're just doing 1 round of half double crochet, no increases, just half double crochet all the way around. So 1 half double crochet in each stitch, and that's, I'm doing double crochet. I'm changing the rules. Goodness, sorry about that. 1 half double crochet. There we are, that's a half double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, so now we'll just join with a slip stitch, the end of round 11. Now for, oh, these slip stitches just aren't working for me. Okay, so that's the end of round 11. Now we're going on to round 12. For round 12, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is that this will be our final round of those loop stitches that I love so much. I'm sure you're probably struggling with them also. They do get a little bit difficult. So this is our final round of loop stitches, and we're just going to do 1 loop stitch in each stitch around, all the way around, as we've done before. The bad news is this little bun that we're making, we need to make 2 of those. So your hands might need a rest after making all these loop stitches. I find that my hands get a little bit sore from doing the loop stitches. I don't know why. I guess I just hold the hook differently, I'm not sure. But loop stitches all the way around, and this will be the last round of loop stitches. I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, slip stitching to finish off. There we are. Now, this completes round 12, and now we just have 1 more round, which is round 13, and round 13 is just half double crochets, 1 in each stitch, no increasing, all the way around, and that will be our final round. So after we've completed that round, when we fasten off for this round, make sure you leave an extra long tail. So we want to leave the tail really long because when we join it, we're going to be joining this whole thing. So we need it probably twice the length of this circumference here. So, oh, you need, yeah, quite the long tail. So I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, we're going to join round 13. Oh, this one's poking through. That one's a bit cheeky. So we're going to join this with the slip stitch, round 13. And that is that pretty much done. So the important thing to remember is that we need to leave a really long tail, because we're gonna, when we attach this, we're gonna have to sew it all the way around onto the, we're gonna have to sew it onto, all the way around onto the beanie portion of the hat. So a really long tail. Now we do need to make another one of these, and I will see you back at the end for the assembly. Okay, so once you have your two buns made, then you will need to get some hobby fill or fibre fill and stuff them. So I'll just excuse the crinkling. So now you need to stuff it quite firmly, so it will take quite a bit. And stuff it, and then we're going to sew it onto the beanie that we made in the beginning. So I've actually tried to do that on camera for you, and it's a bit difficult with the way my camera is laid out. So I'm just going to get one that I've done previously and show you exactly where to sew them. Okay, so once you've fibre filled the hat, you just want to sew them onto the hat. Here's one that I've already done. So you want to sew them so that they just touch in the middle. You can see that here. And you want to sew them, yeah, at the top of the hat. So here's the little peak at the front there. And they're very much on the top, not on the side. So we're going for height here. So Winifred has quite high hair. And then you can pull, just give these little loops a tug, because they tend to, the hat tends to sort of swallow them up a little bit. So once you're done, just pull all the loops. Oh, got a fluff on there, to create that real fuzzy look. And that's the final result. So this is how your hat should look when you're finished. Thank you so much for joining me for this tutorial. Please leave any feedback below, positive or negative. I am still learning at this point, so it'll all be beneficial to me in the end. If you'd like to see more tutorials like this, hit the like button, subscribe, share with your friends. Yeah, so I can create more content. Thank you.